Joe review. Joe review. Yo, Joe.
Cobra.
Joe.
Cobra. Cobra.
Yo, Joe. Yo, Joe.
Cobra.
Joe.
Cobra.
Review.
Cobra.
Yo, yep.
Here we go. Yeah.
Cobra-la.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your semi-monthly podcast delivering a breakdown of tangentially related Transformers topics. You know, that tagline is a work in progress. Don't worry about it. Bi-monthly, are you thinking that means every 2 months?
No, doesn't that mean twice a month?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, we've been doing 2 weeks so far.
Bi-monthly-ish. Hey, we're not making any promises.
It's not legally binding.
We're done week to week for a long time.
We're done with the Transformers movie. We're kind of embarking on a mini-series of G.I. Joe, the animated movie right
People
now.
are like, stop talking about Transformers already. We get what you did. Do your wrists hurt from patting yourself on the back so goddamn much?
That's not why my wrist hurts.
I'm your host, Aaron, and I live a very privileged life. And how many friends do you have that you've known since the second grade? Is the answer 0? Maybe 1? Well, I get to be friends with not 1, but 2 people from this era of my life.
0.
And I get to podcast with them. By sheer coincidence, for you, dear listener, that is this podcast. Please introduce yourselves, 2 of my favorite people, fuck buds, since 1985.
I'm Ryan,
I'm
fuck
Caleb,
bud.
and I'm not a fuck bud of these people.
You don't want to talk about it.
Oh, you're ashamed.
Hey, you guys interested in playing some Mario Brothers later on?
I love it. We are the Autopod Decepticast, known mostly for our in-depth 1986 Transformers the Movie analysis. We are dedicating the next unknown number of episodes to the nationalistic neighbor, to our cast iron cohorts, and the 1987 movie that didn't make it to theaters, didn't make any children cry, but maybe planted the spores that would one day blossom into a full-on tentacle fetish. And I'm talking about G.I. Joe, the movie. And we have covered the introductory sequence as well as about the first 12-ish minutes of the movie. And guess what? We're going to cover the rest of it, baby! So just keep an eye out for this.
The next 12-ish minutes is what we're doing this episode.
A little personal banter here. We got a little 70s dinner coming up.
We do, tomorrow.
What's
night.
up with that?
You don't know anything about it?
Whose idea was it, and why is it planned? I'm very on the periphery.
Whenever we got together to do the gift exchange for Christmas, all of us got together and our families. Mm-hmm. Andy and I were talking, and she was saying that
Andy being Caleb's wife.
Yes, Caleb's wife. And she and I were talking and wanted to have do a dinner party, and we decided let's do it. Hey, we'll shoot for February or whatever. So we texted back and forth and decided to make it a themed party. I asked, is a 70s theme party too overdone? And she was like, no, I love it. Let's do it. We're all going to dress in 70s style garb. Mm-hmm. And then she and I planned the menu. Mainly, 70s style foods. Like I'm doing like a maraschino cherry and pineapple ham and some shrimp cocktail, deviled eggs. I'm doing a lime cucumber pineapple jello mold. Some other.
I can picture the drawings from the Better Homes and Gardens cookbook.
Those weird poor, like the photos from the 70s cookbooks.
Yeah.
The color
washed
correction,
out.
Color correction should have been employed.
Why didn't they use Photoshop or something?
Right.
I'm also doing a salmon mousse mold.
Wow.
The salmon mousse.
That is a Monty Python?
Yes.
Reference.
Yes.
Okay, that's going on. How are you dressing? Or is it a secret?
No, I can tell you. I mean, you're going to be blown away no matter whether I tell you or not. I have not purposefully, mainly laziness, have not cut my hair, but I'm going to try to do like the dry look.
Okay.
And
Poofy?
then Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like 70s Robert Redford leading man hair.
Yeah.
And then I have a mustard turtleneck, and then I'm wearing my sport coat with the leather arm elbow patches.
Let's point out the fact that Ryan's wardrobe anyway
It's true.
is pretty much that era.
It's very heavily 70s influence. It's true.
He's going for Robert Redford leading man, but we know the execution will be
Ed Powers.
That's better than what I was going to say, which is just going to be like comedic character actor that you feel sorry for.
West and I made conscious decisions to go with outfits that were 70s, but like you'd see somebody in a movie in the 70s. It's not like a cartoonish version of the 70s.
Okay.
So she's gonna be rocking an afro.
I was going to ask if she was doing something blaxploitation-ish.
She's gonna do an afro. She's gonna do like the glowy like satiny highlights and
Okay. Is she going to carry a 45?
the gun or the beer.
The gun is the gun that's named after the beer.
No,
That's what.
No.
That's how. Not a lot of people know that.
Oh, interesting.
Fact
no,
of history.
but like her outfit is very in like. I think a way that she would enjoy dressing if it were socially not, people wouldn't be like, "What are you doing?" She just likes these kinds of outfits, and like it is something that all of her stuff she can repurpose for normal everyday wear.
I'm sure she will pull it off. Caleb, are you guys making any food?
Yes.
Yeah, Andy's making food.
Okay. Do you know what that food is?
I think she's either going to do like a pineapple upside down cake or
The 70s were just all awash with pineapple. It's like
Molds.
they just discovered it.
molds.
Yeah.
And she's doing stuffed mushrooms, I think.
Okay. All right. How are you dressing?
It's a surprise.
Oh.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got a sweet corduroy suit that I bought for a Halloween costume that I never used, and I remembered that I had it in storage.
Nice.
So I'm like, and it's got a really awesome sort of velour shirt combo that I've got with it. So I'm dressed, but I'm not making any food.
No, well, you never do.
It's for my own shit.
Hmm.
Wow.
So,
I didn't mean to
this
turn
is-
this on me.
This is the future past. We'll be enjoying that tomorrow in real life, but in reality, I think this episode comes out in April.
It'll be March. This should be coming out around TFCon time.
It's true. Yeah, I think you're right.
The
Speaking of which,
yeah.
you'll be there.
Dateline. Transformers. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. The Autopod Decepticast has news. Let's go to press.
I will be there. Yeah, I actually didn't put a note to talk about it here, but I will be there with Mike Seibert of Mike Seibert Radio. We will have some podcasting that we do live, and per some conversations that we've had here internally based on communications with Ron Friedman. Well, I'm not, there's no official announcement, but we're certainly going to try and leverage our relationship.
He has responded to us in electronic form.
Into an interview. We should call Mike and talk about that. If anybody's not afraid to make sure that happens, it's Seibert for sure. So that's TFCon. Last episode recap here as we talk about G.I. Joe the movie. We saw a bee get eaten by a catfish that got eaten by an alligator.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that was a trope.
It is a trope. It's the big... I can't remember the name of it.
We found out that Cobra Commander is truly the Rodney Dangerfield of high Cobra officers. Nobody fucking likes him.
Always a bigger fish trope. Isn't
Can't get no respect.
it? Hey!
Thank you. And we met Pythona, who is not very good at moving about undetected, but she does make perfect circles and has a very large arsenal of tentacled weaponry. Where do you think she stores that arsenal?
She probably has another bio bag.
It's just a gross, like moist,
undulating.
Yeah, undulating backpack.
Just whips it around her shoulder, like that episode of Friends where Joey got the man bag.
It regurgitates whatever she needs at that moment. It's like,
That's right.
Is there an episode of Friends like that? Because there was I don't know which came first, but Seinfeld. There was an episode of Seinfeld where Jerry had a man bag.
Maybe I'm confusing him. I'm pretty sure Joey had a man bag.
I like to think Friends ripped off Seinfeld because I like Seinfeld a lot better.
Because
Very different shows.
Because probably Friends came after.
Well,
Well,
it
no,
did.
They were contemporaries.
They ran
well,
concurrently,
yeah, you're
but
right.
Seinfeld came first.
I remember the banter
Yeah.
was always around salaries and who gets paid more.
I feel like Seinfeld punched out at the right time, and Friends went about 3 seasons too long.
I'm not judging that competition.
It also does not hold up very well if you rewatch Friends, where I admit that Seinfeld does.
Victoria, my oldest stepdaughter, loves Friends, and I
don't
have a great memory of it.
Surprising.
I don't have a great memory of it. And whenever I go upstairs and an episode is on, and I sit down and watch an episode with her, I laugh quite a bit actually, and which shocks me because in my head I don't like Friends, but then when I watch it, I have to admit that I laugh.
Well,
you're watching it and you're like,
nicely done. I haven't rewatched Friends. I don't know. This is my memory of Friends, but in rewatching, I just like binged all of Seinfeld in the past week, and I'm like surprised and like happy to notice that there are people of color throughout that whole show. I mean, the main cast is white, but they have like Black, Hispanic, and Asian people in New York because it's New York. In throughout the whole show. I don't remember that being a thing in Friends, but I may just be not remembering.
Last episode, as I was saying, we met Pythona. She has told Serpentor that his destiny will be fulfilled if he can get his hands on something called the Broadcast Energy Transmitter, which is, I guess, is the MacGuffin the right word for this? The MacGuffin for this movie, or at least the first half of the movie. And so we open up now on some tundra-like landscape, which, as I recall, when you did your script deviation last week, that movie opens up on a tundra-like landscape. Am I to believe that that's this? Is there a similar sort of MacGuffin like the B.E.T. that you can discern from the Friedman draft?
No. In the Friedman draft, it's basically just Cobra's doing some shit in Greenland, and Joe comes to it.
Oh, okay.
And here, in the movie we're watching, it's the Himalayas that Joe's doing stuff.
Is that right? I wasn't even sure it was the Himalayas.
It's the Himalayas.
Is there a word on the screen that gives that away?
Maybe I just found that out in the research, but it's like, I don't know why it's in the Himalayas.
Okay.
But
we open up like on a tundra-like landscape in the Himalayas, and there's a bunch of Joes there just basically fucking around. It's the Himalayas, but there's these Swiss mountain horns.
Did you not think Ricola?
I did. And they're all basically just playing grab ass out there. You've got Quick Kick and Gung Ho, and they're having a conversation, which really made me laugh a lot. I'll just read what they say on screen. I don't care if we have to drive all night. We're going to be there by morning.
That's funny. This is another trope.
Is it really?
Yeah, coming in on
fake conversation.
No, it's coming in on the end of a joke.
Right.
Like the most famous one I can think of is in Men in Black when he flashy things Jay. And Kay, he wakes up in a bar and he goes, and Kay's in the middle of a joke. He says, "Honey, this one's eating my popcorn."
I guess it is all derivative of the rectum coulda killed him
kind of
thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as we get into this movie, though, all of these little side conversations that we hear, I feel like it's possible that some of this back and forth was just banter that the actors were having in the studio.
And they just threw it in
there. Because it is just too weird, and they didn't put it in very good places or provide very good context. But as we scan across the scene here, we see Flint getting his Mac on with Lady Jaye over here, and I believe it is. They do have a relationship, right? I don't know. Do they express that on the show? Well, I believe that there's a character named Morgan Fairchild.
Oh, I have stuff to say about Morgan Fairchild, not in this episode. But
okay, and she is supposed to be their daughter.
Yeah, she's in Transformers.
Right, exactly. And Fairchild is his government name.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello, listeners. I'm Casey Kasem. This time, your resident trapped phantom is here to provide more information about G.I. Joe on a Transformers podcast. So that's not stupid. It's Melissa Fairborn, you dumb fuckwads, not Morgan Fairchild. Fairchild was a very famous blonde actress in the 1980s, known for North and South TV series and the nighttime soap powerhouse Falcon Crest. It's just like God, anyone who cares is just generic insult here. What the fuck? Lick my butthole.
And
I believe that is canon in some of the Transformers media. Yeah,
well, let's not screw that up. We're gonna get lots of haters.
I'm
pretty sure.
99.9% sure.
So there's a lot of laughing. There's some horseplay. There's some horseplay, and unfortunately, no one's really guarding the broadcast energy transmitter. We've got Mainframe, Dial Tone, and Duke. They're dicking around this bit of machinery here. Dial Tone, who has been suggested, shout out to Michael Andrews, as the shockwave of the G.I. Joe verse. He is just sure that this thing is going to work. And
Unlimited power, anytime we want, anywhere, anytime we want.
Perfect.
That's what he says. Unlimited power, anytime, anywhere we want. Which is
Did you got when I? So do you guys ever made the connection that when you see the B.E.T. that I think of it as like a giant device. It's going to like broadcast like episodes of the Monique Show or Nellyville or maybe Run's House.
How long you been holding on to this?
They should have that.
5 minutes.
Okay.
They should have that tap dancing frog on the logo emblazoned on the side.
Welcome to the WB.
Yeah.
Fuck that frog.
I did have Dial Tone. I think I probably got him from a garage sale. Yeah, and then this is the weirdest thing because Duke says if this thing works, it could be the key to the world's energy crisis. How? Like, I think they're conflating two things here because Buzz Dixon does say that this is taken from Tesla research, where Tesla was working on wireless transmission of energy. But it seems to be that they're equating wireless energy with free energy, as if it comes from nowhere, as if it's creating energy.
Are these solar panels that are on this thing?
I don't think that's the implication.
You don't think so?
They look like the panels that are on Close Encounters of the Third Kind that make the colors with the music.
Maybe they're hoping that
because they light up and that's what the energy shoots out of.
Maybe they're hoping that the energy will be actually like the energy that's inspired by the electricity of the Wendy Williams show.
I hope this never stops.
Also, all the references you're making aren't really Black entertainment television references, are they? Is Wendy Williams on B.E.T?
I think he just...
The Wendy Williams show has been on the B.E.T.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, obviously you wouldn't know that. Aaron.
I don't know if you noticed.
I'm too busy watching KKK radio.
Oh.
I watch
KKK radio.
They have a YouTube.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But those look like solar panels. I think the implication is it creates energy, though, or it somehow magnifies energy.
Which is impossible.
But broadcast energy transmitter, I mean, let's break that down. It's broadcasting energy, and that's redundant, right? Broadcasting and transmitting.
Yeah.
So it's like squared. It squares the power of energy.
I think they're just conflating like broadcasting energy with creating it like cold fusion or something. I don't know.
So we don't get
it irritates the hell out of me.
But what we do know is that Dial Tone sounds like Mo Sizlak's even less testosteronally gifted younger brother.
He does.
Counterintelligence Officer Scarlet shows up on the scene and reminds us that this piece of shit costs $1 billion taxpayer dollars. I should have done the math to see what that's worth in today's dollars. $1 billion.
It would probably be at least 1.5. I'm going to bet 1.75.
No way. I'm going to bet 5.
No, it's not more than double.
Okay, hang on. We're talking
just
1987 inflation
calculator. We've been here before.
Morgan Freeman.
This is the one I have this bookmarked.
1987. I guess we'll go with 2017. It might not. Well, it's over double.
$2.19 billion.
Yeah. All right. Well, we all.
I was the closest without going over.
Sure you were.
Price of right. Price of right rules. Might makes right.
That's right.
Migrumok.
So Duke flips the machinery on, exposes that. Well, this is where he says that this may be the key to the world's energy crisis, which very 80s premise and need, by the way. The thing blasts a heaping amount of energy all over the mountain. Everyone is super excited about the success of this machine. Of course, not knowing that in 5 years they will all have a new undiscovered form of cancer. but for now, it's all high fives. Even those who did not do the work, which is most of the people.
What the fuck's quick kick and roadblock to it? Or
Just telling shitty jokes.
Yes,
It's like,
yes.
The top
I
of
don't
it was like a
remember his name.
disco floor from Saturday Night Live.
I want one of those light up floors. And then it basically, again, this is the wireless bit of it, just makes things work independently.
Yeah.
And then, we
I
have
wish I could back this up 5 seconds. It's like one of the machines sexually
Yeah.
harasses
Is it Lady Jaye? She gets
Hang on,
hit in the
let's go
butt
back
by a.
this phallic cannon.
Yeah, well,
like
yeah.
flips
Oh, I
up
missed
out of
that.
the
Yeah,
ground.
look, watch. It
Pops
Oh my
Lady
God!
Jaye-
Yeah.
Pops Lady J in the old Tookus.
Yeah.
12
it
minutes,
totally
55
does.
seconds. Yeah, it just like
Yeah,
straight
that's not
up
good.
slides up her butt crack.
that's not good.
And then quick kick. And
They're probably high-fiving because they saw it.
Yeah.
And then, at 13 minutes, we have Cross Country's Havoc runs away.
Yeah.
That's right. So
And also, all the radios of all the vehicles start playing DMX simultaneously. Stop! Stop!
So at this point, when Cross Country's Havoc, it starts moving on its own. Duke actually gives a little chuckle at that point, by the way.
Look at this piece of shit struggle.
But the yucks cease because Cross Country starts running or he runs to chase down the Havoc, but then he starts running back towards the camera, and he is being chased by a gigantic fleet of Cobra stun vehicles. Serpentor flies right into the scene. Destroy everything except the broadcast energy transmitter.
Immediately, everyone.
This I command.
Or second, this I command, and immediately everyone shoots at the broadcast energy transmitter.
We should drink every time he says this I command. How drunk do you think we'll get?
I mean, we're only at 2.
Well,
We're drinking anyway.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I will also say
we should drink more.
Yes.
that I think that in the Transformers the movie, I think the Transformers the movie laser blasts are better, like visually, but I like the sounds of the Joe blasts more.
They're not the same sound effect?
No.
Okay. All right. Duke shuts down the broadcast energy transmitter. As we alluded, Cobra is blowing the fuck out of everything. They seem to be firing at the broadcast energy transmitter, which is sort of
What's this
expect.
vehicle that loses control? And
That's a Havoc. It stands for Heavy Articulated Vehicle Ordnance Carrier.
I want to think that the Havoc just keeps running around by itself throughout the rest
Like
of the
this
movie.
was Ernest Goes to Camp, where you keep seeing the
It's
car.
a running gag.
Yeah.
The Havoc is just in the background along the horizon. Oh, that's wonderful.
That's pretty good.
So Cobra, as we're saying, is just blowing everything up. Look
at that.
They have the element of surprise.
Yeah, which they shouldn't have.
in a very
So
big
dumb.
way. What were the Ricola guys?
No, I
Maybe the Ricola guys were actually blowing a warning sign.
they
that
were
nobody
Cobra
paid
agents?
attention to.
I just want to say Joe they're not very well organized.
It doesn't seem like they were trained for this.
No.
The Joes finally start to fire back, and despite the fact that a mountainous, snowy path does not seem like Harley-Davidson territory, the goddamn Dreadnoks show up and join the fight here at this point on their motorcycles.
Yeah, man.
And
I was gonna say earlier, I like that everybody's in cold weather gear, but Cobra, like the Dreadnoks aren't.
Yeah.
Some of the Cobra agents are, but
so they blow up Snowjob's Havoc. He abandons just in time, of course, and then he goes and hops on Quick Kick's Havoc. They exchange some witty, wintery banter and take some shots. Their banter here does not make sense, as I was alluding to here. Here's what they said. Quick Kick. Hey, Snowjob, need a lift? Snowjob. Maybe walking is better for my health. Quick Kick. Since when were you the nervous type?
That's because there's so much going on that they're talking to each other, but they're not paying attention to what each other's saying.
they're just
And
responding
they're just saying,
in whatever way.
saying things. That's like
They actually do have an interaction in a little bit that I really enjoy the dialogue of.
So there is a high overhead.
it's like when someone is
What's it like?
it's like when you're leaving the house and someone that is at the house says, "Have fun tonight," and you're like, "You too."
I see. We're doing Brian Regan jokes.
Yeah, take luck.
Take luck and have it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Maybe I've had too many drinks.
Or not enough. That's what I say.
There's a high overhead at this point of the Wendy Williams show, and by the explosions happening all around it, you'd think that the troops aren't obeying Serpentor's command to not destroy it. This is the most egregious shot here. The B.E.T. is there's just explosions happening all around it. Duke, always observant, remarks that Cobra is after the B.E.T. He commands his people to abandon the $1 billion savior of all mankind and fall back. Cobra and Serpentor at this point then get into a little bit of a fight.
Well,
Go ahead.
One quick thing. I like how this is, I think, specific, like they did this specifically, but like if you notice, G.I. Joe always falls back and regroups, and Cobra always retreats.
Yeah.
It's a euphemism.
Doesn't Duke at this point say, they're shooting at these cans?
Oh, yeah. And then Serpentor says, I must possess the broadcast energy transmitter. This I command. That's number 3.
Number 3, we'd be getting tanked on this episode. But and as he says that, or before he says it, he and Cobra Commander kind of get into a little shit here. And Cobra's give it like, this is costing us dearly. Which the action on screen, by the way, hasn't conveyed at all. They've been
Unless he's
actually
just talking about gas.
really kicking G.I. Joe's ass at this point. Serpentor calls Cobra Commander a lackey, and now I appreciate input, and as our HR representatives will tell us, feedback is a gift, but this is an offensive level of candor. Higher level Cobra officials really need to treat each other with more respect. Also, the Megatron Starscream question persists here because clearly Cobra Commander is a pain in the ass. Clearly no one likes him. Why didn't Serpentor get rid of him a lot earlier?
Yeah, because we don't have the Starscream defense where Starscream is actually capable and like is very powerful, whereas Cobra Commander doesn't seem to add a lot to anything.
I would think maybe Serpentor just hasn't built up the documentation on Cobra Commander yet enough to build a case.
You got to have your paper straight.
Maybe that's scheduled for next
Paper
week.
trail.
That's right.
I just haven't got to it yet.
I would argue Cobra Commander has shown a level of competence. He created Cobra.
He did.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He seems to be one of the few smart ones here that he's wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, he's one of the ones wearing a coat.
Yeah. At least he dresses appropriately for the situation.
Is there a college that has a serpent-themed mascot?
I don't know why.
I just thought it'd be funny if he had college letters on his hoodie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's part of the Indiana Quetzalcoatlus.
I don't know what a Quetzalcoatl is.
Quetzalcoatl is an Aztec god who was a serpent and who flew.
I think you knew that we wouldn't know that.
I don't know. Open a book.
Ryan is always trying to prove his intellectual superiority.
I will say this. It is very difficult and draining on me for me to constantly bring myself down to your guys' level. So sometimes I'm sorry it comes out.
It's that's why APDC AD exists. Is your attempt
That's
to try and
highbrow,
relate.
baby.
Right now, you've got Cobra Commander, you've got Dr. Mindbender. They're in this machinery. Cobra and Serpentor have just exchanged some shitty dialogue, and immediately their vehicle gets Mindbender and Cobra Commanders get shot up by Roadblock and Snake Eyes, and so they wreck and get just chucked into the snow. Who is that third character with them? It's got to be some kind of actual named Cobra
I don't know
person,
who that
but
is.
I don't know who it is.
It looks like a Kmart beachhead.
It does, yeah. I was going to say it's kind of a Cobra beachhead. They get thrown into the snow. Everybody's, certainly unhappy about that. The Joes turn around and continue to fire on them. Some rockets. The Joes are turning the tide, by the way.
I don't know if you noticed, but the rockets have the sound like Prime's rifle sound effect.
Yes, I did know that. I love that sound effect. That's
Yeah,
one
it's
of my
great.
favorite.
It's so good.
Animation sound effects that I assume is only used in these two.
I think so.
programs, but I do love it. Duke decides to jump back to the B.E.T. I surmise he never should have left it. If Cobra wants the B.E.T., in theory, they're never gonna leave. They're not gonna
Destroy
They're not
it?
gonna destroy it. So why wouldn't you just stand your ground there? But
Or drive it away.
or.
I mean, that thing's got to move at like 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's not highly portable, but
I mean, they brought it all the way to the Alps
I
for some
was thinking
reason.
they
for
built
no
it there.
reason at all.
Do you not think
Weird.
Why would they build it in the Alps?
don't
Why
know.
is it
I
there?
don't see any factory.
Wait, they're in the Himalayas. They are not
Yeah.
in the Alps.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they just
Tibet.
They got some Sherpas, that cheap Sherpa labor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Capitalism.
No offense to any Sherpas out
No.
there.
Where my Sherpas at?
So Duke jumps back to the B.E.T. He says that the B.E.T. is the Joe's only shot, and he asks for cover. He runs toward it. He takes a laser singe to the shoulder while trying to get over to it.
The bit where I like the interaction between the dialogue of Quick Kick and
Snowjob.
Thank you, Snowjob. Where he says, "Man with a problem." I just really enjoy that. I thought that was a really good line.
Mm-hmm. Who wrote that line?
Buzz Dixon would be my guess.
At this point, Serpentor flies towards the B.E.T. Duke kind of grabs up from underneath it, rides it into the air, and while he's in the air from underneath it, he chucks a grenade into it.
Oh, he pulls the pin with his teeth and chucks a grenade into it.
Is there a trope to that?
Yes. You
Like,
can't do that.
Would it pull out your front teeth?
Yes.
If you did such a
In fact, Buzz Dixon mentions that, because Buzz Dixon did do 5 years in the military, and he mentioned specifically at this part that you'd lose your teeth if you did that.
maybe G.I. Joe has
Quick
developed
release
a form-
grenades.
Yeah.
They made like the pull with their teeth.
Also, where did he pull that grenade?
It was out of his coat.
Okay, so it was just like in his pocket, like my wallet would be.
I mean,
Oh, that's okay. I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
sure.
that's not so hard.
It was
to
probably like he had it on the mesh, you know.
I feel like grenades are usually attached to something. Like there's some security. It's more than just dangling like your car keys.
You
Well,
realize
you're not in the
You
army.
realize Duke is dangling.
Well, this
from-
isn't Army.
You realize Duke is dangling from an improbable Serpentor flying machine, right?
That's true. What makes that thing go? Did
That's-
Elon Musk design that?
Yeah. Magnets. How do they work?
Duke chucks the grenade into the. What is the name of Serpentor's vehicle?
I don't know. Does
I
it
did
have
not
a
look
name?
that up. I bet you it does.
Snake
And-
Slay.
Hang on.
The snake sleigh. I like that. I hate everything about Serpentor.
I don't. Why do you hate him so much? Is it just because he usurped Cobra Commander?
Partly, and also he's just look.
It's called the Air Chariot.
He's just.
That's not a good name.
He's just ridiculous. They should call it the Ariat.
Duke throws his grenade into some air vents of what I have just learned is called Serpentor's Air Chariot, and he drops off of the machine. Grenade explodes, destroying Serpy's ship, and Duke runs back to the B.E.T., activates it, which causes a cache of Joe missiles to fire on Cobra from behind and help turn that tide
They got
even further.
a squadron of patriots back there.
That's right. At this point, the Cobra troops panic. Cobra Commander demands that they stand their ground, but people don't seem to really be wanting to stand their ground at this point, which is it's a weird thing. Like the juxtaposition of when Cobra Commander says "stand your ground" and
As
then
opposed
says
to-
"retreat."
Like immediately turns around on it. Yeah.
Right. Serpentor attacks Duke on the B.E.T., throws him to the ground. He pulls out one of his patented snake spears. Now, this one is more of a spear,
It's a
less
spear.
of a cane. What's your take on this, Ryan? We've been debating this.
Here's the funny thing about this. Whenever he throws it, and we're at like 1650, he throws the snake, it misses Duke, and then the snake just fucks off. It's like, peace, I'm out.
What else is it going to do?
Where did it go? Where's it doing? Why doesn't it just remain there?
It can't survive in this harsh environment. Those things are from India.
Well, as
Going back to
again,
India.
I have contested that they are technology, but like, so it just doesn't. It's just, I guess it's fine, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
Duke is just looking at it.
Yeah, he's like, what is that? What? Did you just throw a snake at me?
So there's some good exchanges here. This is actually a really good fisticuff moment here. Duke is on the ground. Serpentor charges. Duke manages to do some judo shit that gets Serpy, as I like to call him, ultimately thrown into the satellite dish.
I think, going back to your thing about the retreat thing, and we'll see in a second where Cobra Commander calls retreat, I think he does it specifically because they're like, let's leave Serpentor here and let's bug out.
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, he's kicked into the satellite dish and gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
And it just slides off, smoldering and plopping onto the ground. So, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Cobra Commander just sees another moment
An opportunity
to leave Serpentor in the dust. You've got Destro, Baroness, Mindbender. They want to help Serpentor. Cobra Commander commands the retreat, and he knows of a mountain sanctuary that they can use to regroup. At this point, Duke flips Serpentor over. Roadblock shows up and rhymes.
I was going to say, yeah, I have that actually. Roadblock is black and rhymes. And it made me think of Blaster.
Oh, yeah.
Which Buster Jones does do a voice, but it's not Roadblock. It's not till the end of the movie. He's Doc.
I've got Roadblock on my voice actor itinerary for the end of the episode. Did Roadblock rhyme in the show?
This is the only time he rhymes in the movie.
I was going to say, we are going to see more Roadblock talking later, and he does not rhyme.
No.
But it felt too
specific
on purpose.
Yes.
To not be it felt like, having not watched G.I. Joe in forever, I felt like, does he do this all the time?
Yeah, it was weird. But then again, I don't remember Blaster rhyming all the time, but it was maybe more of a thing.
When I was researching that a little bit, I didn't watch any old G.I. Joe shows, but I also learned that the rhyming character is a trope.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got
sure.
I mean, you've got Blaster and Wheelie and Transformers.
One a little more annoying than the other.
One is cool. Cobra is retreating.
Mm-hmm.
G.I. Joe is regrouping. Duke says that they're going to have to split the force up. Half is going to have to go chase Cobra. Half is going to have to guard Serpentor and the B.E.T. He commands Roadblock to get a little crew together and go after Cobra. Cobra is still seeking refuge in the mountains at this point.
Yeah.
The troops are freezing. They're unhappy with this decision. Cobra Commander is demanding to push on. However...
He knows a place.
That's right. He knows a place.
Well,
he believes in it.
I will say this. Unlike in Transformers the movie, they actually decide to go after the retreating villains.
Right.
Like, as opposed to Autobot City, we're like, they're fine.
I guess the difference being that the Autobots took some heavy losses. They kind of needed to regroup themselves. Don't you think? I mean...
Did they, though?
They were psychologically damaged.
Prime.
All those other people.
Yeah.
Windcharger, Wheeljack.
I suppose,
everybody on that ship.
I suppose you're right.
Nobody's died yet on this show. Or will. Spoilers.
Spoilers. That's right. No real world consequences.
Roadblock's team catches up with Cobra and attacks. The team plods through a tunnel to find the sanctuary. The Cobra team, that is. Mm-hmm. It is when they get through that tunnel, we're going to find that it is filled with these 50-story tall stocks with these alien-like pods on the tops and on the ends. Me eyes playing tricks on me.
It's revealed that Cobra Commander knows about this place.
Yeah, that's right. So Roadblock and the team is going to charge through here, by the way. And at this point in time, well, I mean, I guess you'd have to know Cobra Commander is going to know about the place because he mentioned that he knows about the sanctuary.
Or you could just think he's full of shit. Which everybody seems to.
He actually pulls into this place like, wow, oh wow. And it's like,
this is the first we see in this movie that the Havoc has this ability to open up and shoot like a big old flying hover vehicle, which Roadblock manages to drive
with his feet.
Yeah, exactly, completely with his feet. I don't know how that works, but you know what? He has had practice.
Yes.
He charges. He's stopped as some mysterious hands emerge from the snow, grab his hover vehicle from below. The mystery creature will then flip Roadblock out of the vehicle and pull him below the snow. A whirlwind opens up in the ice there, and a strange bunch of new bug-faced, orangish red troopers emerge, yelling what can only be described as a mix between the sound of a very large hornet's nest and a jihadist war cry.
Yeah.
I
And
have notes about that later. Buzz Dixon talks about that.
They have these giant pedal-shaped swords. They're incredibly strong. They start fucking these Joes up. Snowjob gets in his vehicle. He goes after Cobra Commander, but before he can capture him, that same unidentified winged figure as before emerges from the ice again and stops the car. Not only does he stop it, he lifts it up in the air and uses his spiked elbow to stab into the vehicle, grab Snowjob, and throw him out.
Opens it up like a can of sardines.
The music...
I do like also that every Joe, there's no specialization. All Joes know how to drive all vehicles.
Of course.
I mean, it's
They
cross-training.
do have they do have specializations, but yeah, they're capable of doing other things.
I just thought the idea that like somebody who is trained in a tank could drive like, I don't know, a helicopter is kind of
Or some other made-up science vehicle.
Yes.
The music at this point, by the way, has all been in Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Cobra Commander is very happy. He applauds the strangers to us, not to him, and approaches the winged one to only get just backhanded to the ground, which I hate to admit was pretty funny.
It is funny. I feel like there's a missed opportunity for a joke here, where Destro says he knows these people, and Cobra Commander says, "You're as impressive as ever." Backhand. I feel like the obvious next line should have been, "Well, it sure looks like they know him."
Mm-hmm.
And delivered by anybody.
Baroness.
Destro,
I like it.
maybe. I don't know, whatever.
That's a solid punch up, I feel.
I like it, Ryan.
Thank you.
You should be in Hollywood.
I'm Bruce Valanche over here.
So Cobra Commander is dumbfounded, and he says that Galabulus will have your head for this. And that's when our new friend from the last episode, Pythona, emerges and tells Cobra Commander that it is his own head that he should be worried about.
He's like, what?
Cobra Commander is not happy to see Pythona, and he takes off in one of these stun vehicles here. Pythona commands the new character, who we'll just call him Nemesis Enforcer, his God-given name, to retrieve Cobra Commander, and he does this, but not without making this just terrible, awful, guttural sound. So Nemesis Enforcer brings Cobra Commander back to the scene. We see some of the Wasp-like they're called Royal Guard, by the way, is their official name.
I really like their design. It's a lot of fun.
It's creepy. I mean, the designers for the Cobra-la, the one thing, I mean, is they had their shit together when they planned it.
I agree.
out.
It looks very good.
Yeah, they did a great job of making it very synchronous, and it all works really well together.
Absolutely.
So they're walking some prisoners to an undisclosed location. Are those prisoners G.I. Joe or Cobra?
Those are
people?
Cobra.
Okay.
They're like walking everybody. You can even see Destro in there.
Okay, so they're walking them to a location. Ripper shows up and asks where the prisoners are being taken, and Pythona answers in a way that indicates that she knows who all these people are. She commands the Dreadnoughts to go and rescue Serpentor. Zartan protests.
Why the Dreadnoughts?
I mean, they've got skills.
I guess.
Zartan's
They're masters of disguise.
As we will see. He's like, lady, we don't know who the fuck you are. And Pythona pulls out a giant
comically sized
gem and pulls a David S. Pumpkins and is like, any questions?
Topical. Oh, 3-year-old joke.
And to that, Zartan
I do like his response.
basically agrees to take on the mission. That is a great line.
Oh, yeah, it's a gem of that size answers all my questions, which is an obvious line. I knew he was going to say that, but it's great. It's exactly what you want.
It's well written.
Yep.
The animation on his face and his cohorts.
And it definitely, the way they animate it definitely illustrates like his longing for that. It's very well
His
done.
allegiance is with.
Oh, yeah, he's like the highest bidder.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's where we're going to leave it for this episode here. How did you all feel about that battle scene?
I mean, I thought it was serviceable. There was a fair amount of fairly good explosions. I enjoyed it. It seems like you are heading in some direction. So.
No, I'm not. I was just curious.
Okay.
All I can say is when I was young and watching it, it was interesting that for some reason this movie, I develop a lot of sympathy for anyone that suffers at the hands of Cobra-la. and I develop a strange amount of sympathy in this movie for Cobra Commander.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it's at this point where you start, it was fun to see him kind of get made fun of a little bit at the hands of Joe's in the series, but he gets really,
goes through some shit.
He does, and it's interesting that the writers decide to build in that sympathy for Cobra.
It's
Commander.
true. I wonder if that's. It must be. I assume it's intentional, but it really Cobra Commander is so human. Like he's like the humanized version, person in this story.
For me in the movie, and we can discuss this more later. The character development of Cobra Commander, in my opinion, is one of the more profound and interesting ones in the movie.
And I wonder how much of that can be laid at like the feet of Chris Latta's his delivery of some of these.
Yes, I think it was a huge part of it. What he could bring to it emotionally to a character that you
Never see their face.
never see their face until a certain point, and then when you see their face, it's disfigured in a certain way. So that battle sequence kind of starts that for me.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it really is the beginning of that journey, because what's about to really happen to Cobra Commander is he's about to be betrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
And
a really
There's
unfortunate
betrayal.
way.
There's betrayal, and also I don't think.
But he's betrayed because he betrayed.
You see the Joes in this get kicked around in a certain degree that you never really saw before in the series, in a way where they get their asses kicked really hard, and they really seem to be helpless. And
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
true.
see
They're at a huge disadvantage in some of these.
You don't see them this helpless. The only thing I can compare it to is the episode where. The episodes where Shipwreck is in that weird. What's the episode? It refers to Springfield. It's the one where the people's faces are melting.
I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen a G.I. Joe episode in so long that I can't remember the specifics. It was a creepy episode.
It was a creepy episode. He was
hallucinating,
psychologically.
Right? Was it a Mindbender episode?
Oh.
I don't remember exactly,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have to do my homework so we can talk about it more. But I would say that.
Casey Kasem here again to pull the ample fat of the Autopod Decepticast out of the fire. The episode these dirtbags are floundering to recall is Season 1, Episode 54 and 55, There's No Place Like Springfield. Shipwreck is subliminally given a formula to turn water into explosions, is captured by Cobra, who then attempts to extract the information through an extremely elaborate fake family, job, hospital, and parrot. In fact, when Shipwreck's real parrot finds him, Shipwreck grabs the parrot and asks him how he knows he can be trusted. The parrot says, "Rock, remember that night in Annapolis?" And Shipwreck instantly trusts him. What? Some serious shit went down in Annapolis, listeners, and that bird knows where the bodies are buried. Oh, and Cobra has mastered perfect goo-morphing copies of G.I. Joe, and they only use them to try to get the formula for explosive water. Here's a tip. It's called gasoline.
There hasn't been very many points in the series before this where they're as helpless as they are right now.
Right.
And
so
so
there's real, sorry to say the word again, psychological aspects to it.
Oh, absolutely.
As we're going to get.
So anyway, that's how I feel about this battle. It starts that.
Why is Cobra Commander scared of Pythona? And maybe it gets revealed later in the movie, but I presume he knew her because he's been a part of. Obviously, he's got connections to Cobra-la, and he knew, and he said her name. But did she have dirt on him? And certainly, she probably would know from being on base during the whole Serpentor sequence that Cobra Commander was like trying to set Serpentor up to get murdered. So maybe she knows that, and he knows she knows that, but he doesn't know it was her. It's at that base.
It's odd. You would think that Serpentor would already know where Cobra-la is, and would also be aware that Cobra-la was so close to the battle site.
Well, he probably did know that.
Then why would he? It's
complicated because also why wouldn't Cobra-la come out and just get the B.E.T?
That's right.
They got a lot of troops.
It's problematic, and I think it's a plot. It's a problem with the plot that we're just gonna have to move past.
Yep.
All right. Well, then I guess that maybe brings us to the exciting, tantalizing segment of the show that we like to call
Script deviations.
So I don't have any of the outline that Ron Friedman did of the script that he wrote for this. We haven't gotten to that yet. It kind of skips straight from.
But maybe we'll get it.
Maybe we will.
We're working on it.
Crossed.
Wouldn't that be great if we were the first?
Yeah.
Oh,
we'd be on the G.I. Joe map, baby.
And then money comes running.
Yeah. Whoa, slow down. So much money.
We're just going to start bootlegging that script so that the 150 people worldwide that are interested in it.
When you said that, I just had an image of me standing over a copy machine, smoking a cigar, just going,
In this version of you, you're a lot fatter. than you.
Oh
are.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty fat now.
You're not fat
I've
at
been
all.
working on it.
I'm just saying from all that extra meat you've been eating, from
All the ham.
the pineapple coated.
All right, so what I'll read now is just some of the Buzz Dixon commentary that we had from it. This is pretty common knowledge. Cobra-la was a placeholder name.
Oh wow!
It was a Shangri-La reference,
Mm-hmm.
basically, and he felt like that was pretty obvious, and he was going to change it later, but Hasbro fucking loved it, which I guess they loved everything. We're like, do it all.
Well, like in the 80s, did everybody just get Shangri-La? I mean, maybe it seemed too
I feel
on
like
the
they
nose.
should have.
Yeah,
Too on the nose to him. But
I think people were. I don't think everybody knew what Shangri-La necessarily was, but they'd heard it. They'd heard it a lot, and they probably
Maybe.
subconsciously
I
associated.
can
it
see
with
how it's a
an
placeholder name.
an exotic place.
Right. It doesn't feel that well thought out.
No, because it was never meant to be that. In fact, he says that if he suspected they would have kept it, he would have called it Granny's Body House, which he continues to refer to it in the rest of the commentary as Granny's Body House.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
The punchline that was delivered by Quick Kick is apparently a real joke, which I couldn't find. That Dixon says is the dirtiest joke I ever heard. Which kind of goes along with like the voice actors being filthy and stuff like that, but he does not elaborate on it.
But you Googled the words.
Yeah,
to the joke,
and nothing happened.
Came up.
Nothing came
Really?
up.
Okay.
Oh wow, it's kind of like a.
The only thing that came up was the reference to Men in Black.
Is it like you think it's like a voice actor's like version of the Aristocrats kind of thing?
Yeah,
Getting
maybe.
passed around?
Except nobody knows it.
Right.
We're gonna have to
As opposed
ask,
to everyone knowing it.
You should ask at the convention.
I'm just going to go up to Michael Bell and be like, we're going to drive all day till we get there.
I don't care if we have to drive.
Starts-
Well, he won't understand that because the line is, I don't care if we have to drive all night.
Okay, all right. And he's just going to look at me and give me a secret handshake.
And then you're going to be like, come up to my room. I'll be in the bathroom. You play Super Mario Brothers.
You must make the fireworks go off.
I need the fireworks. And whenever you go down the tube, you know what happens. The part where the vehicles or the stuns are driving at each other in the Himalayas, one piloted by Mindbender and the other by Roadblock, where they're shooting at each other. Dixon says it's a game of chicken between two mustachioed baldies.
I want to read more scripts.
For the show, much like Transformers, they had the ensemble cast try to be in the studio to play off each other, but for the movie, they didn't do any of that. It was all singular, so the actors couldn't really play off each other as strongly as they might have. And he wished they could have had a table read, something like that, which that makes sense to me. I feel like they did a good job, but yeah, I totally see that. It sounds like Hasbro was a lot more lenient with Joe than Transformers because Dixon says they didn't dictate which vehicle or characters to use at all, like in any of the episodes.
Wow.
The point of having Roadblock and his crew and everybody trapped in Cobra-la was to, quote, get rid of a lot of Joes, end quote, in the sense of taking them off the playing board so they could introduce new characters.
Oh, interesting. Is it? So, we'll just let the movie progress. My question was going to be, do we just have a lot of Joes held hostage? I know, obviously, we have the Cobra Commander.
Unfortunately, Shipwreck.
Shipwreck, he's held.
He's out of commission.
Right.
That trilling sound that you mentioned, Aaron, that la 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 la, was inspired by Lawrence of Arabia. Arab women with high-pitched sound that could penetrate for miles. Unfortunately, the male actors had voices too deep for the sharp, high pitch that Buzz Dixon kind of wanted it to happen. I think later when the Cobra characters start doing it, as opposed to the call from the Wasp-like characters.
Gotcha.
And that's all I've got for that episode.
Excellent. Well, maybe by the time we record again, we'll have the original script from Ron
That'd be
Friedman.
dynamite.
We'll have exchanged probably, I don't know, he'll probably give it to us for like
Bodily fluids.
$16.
I need you to come in this cup.
Well, then that brings me to a segment I'm happy to get into because I missed it from the Transformers days because we did it early on, but we ran out of people to talk about, and that's the voice actor segment.
Absolutely.
And we've covered a few of these people on the Transformers the movie portion of the podcast, so we won't go into too much detail on those crossover people. And I'm gonna kick it off with the big gun. First of all, Nemesis Enforcer is the coolest name of any character across both universes. That is an awesome name.
I submit that I hate that name.
Really?
I think it's ridiculous.
Oh,
I mean, it means enemy bouncer, basically.
Why you gotta break it down?
I've never liked that name. Anyway, I'm
I
sorry.
love it.
Go
It
ahead.
sounds amazing. But Ryan, I think you know who voices that.
I do. It is someone who's near and dear to our hearts, Mr. Peter Cullen.
That's right.
Oh.
And it had to be not a very big paycheck.
I can't imagine. He basically grunts. Yeah.
I don't even know why they got him.
I don't either.
They could have gotten anybody. Does Frank Welker have any voices in this
He
movie?
does. I don't know if he has it in the movie, but I have Frank Welker down here, who obviously we know from Transformers and Megatron and everyone else. He does Torch, Wild Bill, Order, who's the dog. So, yes, he's in this movie.
Wow.
And Pingu and Robbie the Seal, which I don't remember those.
He was too busy kicking ass. on
I know who
Transformers.
Pingu is.
I know who it is, but I don't remember. Is that in the movie or the show? I don't know.
Have you ever watched Pingu?
Yes, I know who it is,
I
but
love
I'm like,
Pingu.
why is that in this?
My
Is
boys
he a
love
G.I.
Pingu.
Joe character?
No, Pingu is a claymation. It's a claymation penguin.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious.
Then why are we talking about it?
Well, apparently it is. I think either in this movie or in the show because it was on the list of things. he did
Pingu's in
G.I.
this
Joe.
movie.
I don't know. I don't know.
Keep an eye out, everybody, for this thing I don't know about.
I'm
Yes.
fascinated. Pingu is a European. It's like a Scandinavian claymation show, and it's really, really good.
Okay.
It's about a penguin in the Arctic, and it deals with family dynamics. And I'm actually really surprised that Frank Welker is doing the Pingu voice. That's exciting for me. You wouldn't understand.
Oh,
He wouldn't. I mean, I have a family.
I have a family.
Okay, well then I don't know why you don't understand.
Oh, because I'm dead inside.
Yeah, that's right. I forget.
Zaymont and Duke, both voiced by Michael Bell, who we covered last episode.
Love Michael Bell.
He also did Blowtorch and many Transformers
Lift
characters. Sideswipe and Prowl. I didn't know this. I assumed that Zaymont and Tomax were done by the same person, but
Yeah,
that's untrue. Tomax was done by none other than who, Ryan?
I don't.
Corey Burton.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, there it is.
I thought you knew it.
Spike, Shockwave, Sunstreaker, Brawl. I couldn't find it on my list.
That's right. We mentioned last episode, Neil Ross, Shipwreck, finally got a line in this movie, so we'll talk about him. He also did Buzzer, Monkey Wrench, and Hector Ramirez, who is the Geraldo analog to this
Also
universe.
in Jim.
We remember him from Transformers, Springer Bone Crusher, Hook, many other voices. Gung Ho was Christopher Collins. Chris Latta, he also did Cobra Commander and Ripper. Guys, we know that Mr. Bell, Mr. Collin, Mr. Burton, Mr. Ross are all alive. Mr. Collins is with Jesus. However, we have some new players of the game here, so it's important to understand the status of their blood pressure. Not that whether it's high or low, just that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got about 7 or 8 characters here. Hopefully Ryan hasn't already done the research and knows the answers to all these questions. But
I don't think so.
we'll play a little version of Alive or Dead.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
And with some of the characters that were introduced in this episode that
Our most respectful of games.
that weren't a part of the Transformers.
Or I used to call
universe.
it dead or not dead.
I like that better. We'll rebrand.
That's whenever we were working up stuff for TFCon.
Yeah.
Mainframe was played by a gentleman named Pat Penny. Mainframe was really all he did for G.I. Joe. He was also on the Dukes show that we talked about last episode. He was on Fraggle Rock, Mighty Mouse, New Adventures of Mighty Mouse, the John Kay show that basically made his career before Ren and Stimpy, SpongeBob, Robot Chicken. He's the resident person that does the voices for He-Man and Terminator. He's repped by William Morris, and I presume still is because this guy is
Alive.
Very good. That was a gimme. That was a gimme to prime you guys for the game.
Prime the pump.
Okay, next up we're going to talk about dial tone.
That's one me, Ryan 0.
You beat. Okay, well, make sure you're keeping score.
Okay.
Dial tone. Hank Garrett. Lots of TV movie work in the 70s and 80s. He was Officer Ed in Car 54. Where are you? He was on Paris, Three's Company, Knots Landing, Airwolf. He was in Death Wish, Amityville Horror, Serpico. G.I. Joe is one of his few voiceover credits, along with additional voices on Garfield.
Definitely dead.
Dead.
He's alive.
Okay. Super. I just thought that was a lot of 70s
How
work.
old is he?
Scarlett, B.J. Ward,
He doesn't know how old they are.
a.k.a. Betty Jean Ward. A ton of credits. Incredible Hulk, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Scooby-Doo, Princess Allura on Voltron. She also cheated on the Transformers with the GoBots. Pound Puppies, Yogi Bear, Real Ghostbusters. She was a Broadway vocalist, former Playboy Bunny.
Ooh.
She is the stepmother to Helen Hunt. And what do you guys think?
Alive.
Heart is still beating.
Excellent.
Cross country.
I hope they're all alive, by the way, listeners.
Michael McConaughey played cross country. I don't know how it is you specialize in certain types of gigs, but this guy, he has been involved in anime since the late 70s. So we're talking about Lupin the Third, Mobile Suit Gundam, Galago 13, Robotech, Dragon Ball before it was Dragon Ball Z. He also did Visionaries. He's done a ton of video games. For Transformers, he played the role of Trax and Cosmos. He was president of the Nevada-based VoxWorks Voice Acting Corporation. And this is interesting. He was the voice of Tatsu, who was Shredder's number 2 guy in the live-action Ninja Turtles movies, number 1 and 2.
Oh, I know.
He did the voice of this guy.
That guy was dubbed?
And so, what do you guys think?
Caleb, you go first this time.
Dead.
I'll go alive.
He was the voice of Tatsu in the Ninja Turtles movies, an Asian character. He is white and very much alive.
He's white?
White and alive.
Wait, that guy had a thick Asian accent.
His name is McConaughey.
Oh, no. No, I'm just saying, like, that character.
No, I know. That wasn't...
So it's yellow voice? Wow.
Call it what you will. Snow Job, voiced by Rob Paulson. This guy is one of the kings. He had a
His
few
name
other...
is Robert Paulson.
Very good. Wow. Dang, nice reference. He had a long, strong career that is definitely down to get the friction on. On Transformers, he was Air Raid and Slingshot and Haywire. Haywire was a Target Master character that we wouldn't care about. He was Gladstone Gander on DuckTales. He was lots of voices on Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck. He was a big player in the Disney catalog. Raphael on the
Disney
Ninja Turtles. Arthur on Tick. Likely best known for Animaniacs. He was Yakko Warner and Pinky. What do you guys think?
You have to go
Alive.
first. Dead.
He's alive.
I actually knew that. I know that actor.
He voiced Jim Carrey's character of Stanley Ipkiss in the cartoon spin-off of The Mask. When a Jim Carrey movie is aired on just normal television and it needs to be edited for language, he does the Jim Carrey voiceover work.
It's good work if you can get it.
Roadblock, Kane Holiday. I apologize if I murder that name. Actor. He mostly live action. He Love American Style, Carter Country. He was on the show Soap, The Philadelphia Experiment, Greatest American Hero, Benson, Hill Street Blues, Matlock, Doogie Howser. After marrying Linda Copeland in 1996, he became a traveling evangelist. Oh. He and his wife spent the next decade preaching in gospel musicals.
Oh, no.
Dead.
Hallelujah, he is alive!
I feel like I think I see a pattern.
I don't
Currently, Ryan is ahead 4 to my 3.
Ooh, there's 2 left.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Work your strategy.
Could be.
Quick Kick, Francois Chau. This is an exciting one for me, actually, because Francois Chau is an actor. He's born in Cambodia. Mm-hmm. Most of his credits are live action, not voiceover. Quick Kick is his only Joe credit. He has a few other relatively inconsequential animation voiceover work, but he's been on a lot of television shows: Hill Street Blues, China Beach, Hunter, Baywatch, MacGyver, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Love it.
ER, Nash Bridges, Jag, Alias, and 24. There are two credits that stand out for me. He played the role of Shredder in Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze, not Ninja Turtles 1, and Dr. Marvin Candle, a.k.a. Dr. Mark Wickman, a.k.a. Dr. Edgar Halowax, a.k.a. Dr. Pierre Chang, the Dharma theoretical astrophysicist who appeared on all the orientation films and may be responsible for all the events on the show Lost.
You really liked Lost, didn't you?
Yeah,
I
know
Lost.
Ryan likes to be the guy who doesn't like everything that everybody
portray
likes.
me as this. I like what I like. I don't care. I did not like Lost. It doesn't matter. But I remember, like, we talked about on last episode about the costumes, whereas the one where Caleb was Cobra Commander, you were a Dharma Initiative.
No, I was old Greg when
Nope.
Ryan.
Nope.
Ryan put the picture.
Look
up.
at the fucking look at our website, asshole.
Oh shit, those are my chubby days. All right.
They sure were. I will say alive.
I'll say alive.
He may be lost, but he is
All
alive.
right. So this is my. All right.
This is make or break.
Yeah. So whatever I say.
And speaking of which, I'm glad you brought up Francois Chau.
Chau,
I think is that
pronouncing
but
it.
I was going to say that in a strange break, like of these voice actors with 80s convention, a lot of the newer ones they brought on, especially the ones portraying like people of color, they're actually race appropriate. Like that guy is portraying.
I would think Quick Kick is probably more Japanese, but whatever.
At least he's Asian.
Yeah, he looks kind of Filipino.
Maybe
Quick Kick looks Filipino.
He's wearing a headband. In my head, headband equals
Japanese,
or maybe more Chinese. Actually,
well, Jinx is Japanese. She's portrayed by.
I haven't looked up the bio on Quick Kick. Let's do it real quick. Hang on. Japanese father, Korean mother.
Okay.
He is by country of origin, of not biracial. One more. Thrasher, Ted Schwartz. There's not a lot on this guy. He was Peter Parker in the 81-82 series, which is a little confusing because Dan Gilvezan actually is famous for playing Peter Parker Spider-Man in the early 80s Spider-Man series. So it's a weird credit. He was Tailgate in Transformers, which is not a popular G1 cartoon character. I think he was in one episode, but it is a very popular IDW character. And he also did Rodimus Prime on the Five Faces of Darkness series only. He was also on the Chocolate Fever episode of CBS Story Break. Ted Schwartz.
You go first, Caleb. What's the score?
Well, it's 5-4, so all I can do is tie with you.
Oh, so I'm ahead?
You've been ahead by one for the past couple.
You guys want to bet some points? We'll do a Final Jeopardy.
No. I'm gonna say that he is alive.
You know what? I know that he's alive, but I'll say dead.
He's dead.
Damn it! I thought you were doing all alive people.
I saved the dead guy for last.
Nice job. Nice fake out. I thought I cracked the code.
You know what?
2014.
I will say, Ryan, that was a very, very kind gesture. Thank you so much.
Even though it
Wow.
worked against
It didn't work at all.
No,
Age
it
80.
It did work for him. He won by 2 points.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
You did get it. I apologize.
By trying to get it wrong, he got it right.
I need to drink a little slower. Aged 80, passed away. There is very little information on him, so we can't even talk about what he passed away from. But those are the voice actors introduced in this episode. So I guess it's time, guys, to go to our
Iconic Joements.
fairly fits good enough, right?
You
want another take?
That is the tag to everything we do. That's good enough, right?
Do you want another
Nope.
one? Okay.
You should take all of those
I love
and
it.
mash them together.
Caleb.
Yes.
I always like to hear your iconic Joement.
Because you have one, as opposed to when we did Transformers.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember what happened this episode?
Yes, of course I do. I just gotta think about it. Give me a second.
Aaron,
your
tell us your
iconic
iconic Joement.
For me, it was really the reveal of this new race of, I guess, semi-humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
All the creepiness associated with it, and just Nemesis Enforcer as the coolest name in the G.I. Joe universe, despite its critics.
Split decision.
I will say my iconic moment, it always sticks out when Serpentor gets fried on that disc. He's just like,
It's like 30 seconds.
yeah, he's smoldering when he lands on the ground. How is he not dead?
I would have loved it if he just like sunk into the snow, like he was so hot that it
That's
went all the
pretty
way
iconic.
down.
Yeah. Twitching.
It's great.
I think mine.
I'm just picturing like his arms flailing as he sinks into the earth.
Yes. Oh god.
The snake and the snakes are fine.
I would like it if the snakes popped out of the hole and
I
ran
think it'd be
away.
funny if the snakes' also eyes were like, whoa! Like the snakes were getting, because the snakes were getting fried too.
Just cartoonish
Yeah,
like
eyeballs.
sludge,
like
like
sludge.
Transformers.
He's getting hit by Devastator, yes.
Snakes are just shooting out of his outfit. Like,
Ooh-wee. Oh, okay. I think mine would have been whenever that hole opens up in Cobra-La and those wasp Cobra-La characters come flying out with the
So many of them.
It's very. I feel like animation wise, it's really impressive, and also like it's just very dramatic the way it happens. I love it.
Nowadays, I don't think you could probably use that sound effect.
I don't think so.
From
nope,
a
it's
PC,
culturally insensitive
standpoint.
and
But
it doesn't
at
make
the
sense
time,
either. It doesn't. It's nothing. It's something men don't do in that culture.
It's true. Men have never done that. That's women.
is that right?
Yes.
yes.
There's a word for it. I looked it up. And
Ululation?
please edit this out. Is that it? Okay, yeah. But I guess I didn't get far enough to know that it was gender
Yeah,
specific.
it's only women. They said that in Three Kings.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's they custom.
But at this point in time, when this movie was made, I don't think there was enough exposure to Middle Eastern, or I guess specifically Islamic culture. Specifically, I don't know if that is maybe you guys know more about this than I do. If that is that a jihadist thing,
No.
or is it broader? It's a broader part of
No,
the
it's-
culture.
it's
It's celebratory.
Well, and like I said, it's specifically that Buzz Dixon took it from Lawrence of Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like I think it's just something he found interesting and weird.
Obviously, I need to
but that
Google
sound,
it, but I
that
think it's
thing-
I think it's actually like I could be wrong, but I think it's like a greeting. I don't think it's not
Right.
aggressive. It's
Right.
nothing that has to do with being
right.
aggressive.
It's a communicative thing.
Well, now I'm going to look ignorant when I'm like the jihadist yell, but that's kind of what it's evolved into
That's
from
because-
a
that's-
stereotype.
That's because
You know?
It's just ignorance of like
Western-
not understanding
yeah,
other
totally.
cultures.
Western ignorance. Yeah, absolutely.
I love to be the face of that. So I think that's it, guys.
Yeah, I think
Great.
Nice job.
I think you're at TFCon right now.
I should be.
Wow. This has to be an episode record for the number of times I've had to interject. These talentless hacks were really phoning in the information in this episode because TFCon isn't for another couple of weeks. I'm tired. Can we just call them dumb and move on? My undead producer is nodding yes, so here we go. Fuck off, listeners. Goodbye, hopefully forever.
I
Mike
hope so.
Seibert, me, Dilly,
Ron.
Friedman.
I'm hoping you're hanging out with Ron right now.
Oh, man.
Get
I hope
that-
I hope he's in your room.
getting that manuscript.
that's right. Shaking him down for what he owes you.
You know, he's
been pretty nice.
he's been pretty nice now.
Caleb's now backpedaling on
Backpedaling
his
hard.
harsh
He's
stance.
not as racist or homophobic as we accused in earlier
sexist.
episodes.
I don't know about that.
You're not going to walk that back.
I don't know that yet.
Oh man, Ron Friedman. Of course, if he was like Autopod Decepticast, let me see what these guys are all about.
That's not a bad Ron
And it's
Friedman
gonna be
impression.
the latest episode, and the latest episode will just be us talking trash about Ron Friedman.
Well, if it can stimulate a conversation, then I'm whatever. We can set it straight, Ron.
I feel like it might stimulate a lawsuit.
You mean a lawsuit?
I would love it if Ron Friedman, you and Mike encounter him, and he's like, "Hey, you got any extra room in your room? Because not that I need it, but
I end up spooning Ron Friedman.
Yeah, and like paying for all his meals.
It's just really sad. I think we were making jokes about Ron Friedman sleeping on our couches.
Yeah.
as early as like
early.
episode
Early
15
on.
of the Autopod Decepticast. Thank you, everybody, for those who've been supporting us in the APDC store. And we've still got our Cup recruitment poster. We are running low on supplies, so get in on
Hurry.
that.
Get in while the getting's good.
We've got a handful of those left, so please take advantage of those. The APDC pin series that we have, where we've got some more artwork on the way.
We do, and it's we always want to put more stuff up there. It's just difficult because we kind of have to pre-order it and then wonder if it's going to sell. So it's there's a difficult mix of us trying to get stuff up there as to whether anybody will actually buy it or we're just going to be stuck with a bunch of crap. Not that our stuff is crap.
No, it's good stuff.
I will be taking a handful of items with me to TFCon.
Excellent.
And schlepping. So definitely get in on that and look to the new stuff that I promise will show up sooner or later. And please continue to listen to the show. Subscribe if you would be so bold, and also leave a message on Apple Podcasts, a review. 5 stars is appreciated.
please.
Stitcher, Google Play, tune in. Sorry.
You all right? Oh, no.
Yo, Joe.
Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all of them at APodDcast, and visit our web presence, autopoddecepticast.com.
We're going to have lots of fun stuff up there.
Like what? I challenge you.
Well,
There's going to be a cat video.
yeah.
There's a video of a pine tree getting struck by lightning.
There needs to be a video
Pretty
of a
soon.
sweet pineapple ham recipe.
Absolutely. We're gonna. I'll put up a picture of us at our 70s party.
And pretty soon, we're probably going to have some imagery of TFCon.
Absolutely.
Guys, I'll leak the hottest news.
You should do a
The
little,
hottest news in Transformers.
shoot a little video.
Maybe you're better at that.
I am.
All right, bye, guys. Thanks.
See you later.
Bye. Happy TFCon.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast After Dark, APDC AD. Take your dicks out, take your pussies out, get them wicked them hard, because we're going G.I. Joe style. Men and women in uniform. You can Yo My Joe anytime, any place, any place, anywhere. Where? Underwear. Well, I don't. Thank you for asking, and it's a very sexy question. Just in time for that March Madness. You know who else had madness? That Don Quixote. He was always tilting at them windmills. I'll wind up all those mills. Did you know there was a donkey in that story? You know how you lead a donkey? With a carrot. That was my nickname in high school, ladies and gentlemen, the carrot, because that's what I had in my pants, a big old turgid carrot. Thought I was smuggling a big-ass carrot all around, but it was my wang. Got your nose frosted. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, this was a real stream in consciousness one. Yo Joe gasm.
Blow cells, where we sell good.